morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we host a podcast every Friday for 30 minutes live, talking everything about the North Fork. I say Tracy, however, today Tracy is not going to be joining us. She is doing her regular day job. For those of you who follow regularly, you know she does huge events in New York City. And this weekend, including next weekend, is a huge food and wine festival that she has been doing forever and ever. So she will be running that show, and we wish her and her team best of luck. Special treat, we will have Kelly, our ex-co-host, joining us to co-host the show today. So I'm super excited about that. Talk about exciting. I hope many of you had an actual chance to go outside last night and look at, I don't know if it was the Northern Lights, I don't know if it was a storm related, I don't even know how to describe the phenomenon, but it was amazing. It was definitely, the sky was pink and green. And I know that even though, in some points your eye could literally see the sky was lit up pink, but if you used your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever to capture it, it just, because of the electromagnetic, I don't even know how it works, but the cameras and the cell phones really captured an amazing visual of the skies. If you weren't able to see it yesterday, everybody's Instagram feed and Facebook feed is filled with those pictures, so check them out. And if not, rumor has it that they may be visible again tonight. But what I learned yesterday is they kind of come in waves, so it's not like there. If you go out, it's not there the whole night. I guess last time, I think it was there for about 20 minutes, and then allegedly it came back really later at night. So keep an eye out for that. That sounds like a fun thing to do. While I'm waiting for Kelly to join us, I want to throw out another fun thing to do. I'm not sure who actually is organizing it, but I heard about it from the North Fork Polar Bear. Several different organizations involved. I believe it's about 10:30 or 11 in the morning. Little Fish is co-sponsoring it as well, so everybody meets. Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I just wanted to finish up. So I will post the flyer about the cleanup, but it is Monday, Indigenous Peoples Day, because I'm not sure we're calling it Columbus Day anymore, but that's when the cleanup is. Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, Kelly. I'm so happy to have you back on, Kelly. How have you been?
I'm good. Running around as usual.
Well, I know, because for those of us who follow your page, you are busy.
I try.
In three different destinations.
Yep.
Between the North Fork, I guess you should be called East End now, because it's the North Fork, South Fork,
I'm
in New York City.
I'm in the city too, so can we just call me the lady who is everywhere?
Okay, you and I could talk for the whole half hour, but
yes.
let's include Cassandra. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I felt the hair pressure today. Not that I did anything about it. I just felt
No pressure at all. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Let's dive in. Let's tell everybody who you are and how you got started in this hair salon business.
So my name is Cassandra Hammond. I opened up Cassandra Mari Salon about 8 years ago. When I've loved hair since I was a little girl. All my Barbies had bobs, if that can give you a good idea. I went to 𝗚cie when I was in high school and got my license after I graduated high school. And basically been working on the South Fork and the North Fork for over 20 years. I just love anything hair and beauty industry related. My grandparents actually owned a salon in Cambria Heights way back when. And I guess it's kind of in the blood.
Wow. Sounds like you have a long history with hair. I don't know how your parents dealt with the cutting of the Barbies and the hair.
They weren't happy.
I wonder if my daughter is following in your footsteps, because she just spent like 3 hours yesterday in the yard cutting every Barbie's hair. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
She does have long hair, so it can be styled too. It doesn't have to be cut. But I know, little girls also tend to color them wild. So there's that.
That's
Mhm.
true. That's true. But taking a good whack to it is kind of fun, I guess.
It is.
So,
It
so
is.
you
The
mentioned
cleanup, not so much.
Yeah,
you started obviously
exactly.
20, you started 20 years ago. So were you working at other salons before? Is this your first salon?
So yes, I worked in numerous salons, starting out on the South Fork in Southampton. I worked for 𝗵𝗶𝗿𝗄 Salon for a couple of years, and then after that, I found the North Fork. I worked for several salons on the North Fork and kind of bounced around, and I just always felt like I've always had the passion to own a salon and give stylists a home where they could feel empowered and feel creative and feel comfortable and just basically giving them more like creative uh, flow, I guess. So it's been a good 20 years. I've done a lot of different things within that time. I've done some teaching a little bit, but it's really my favorite thing is to see people come out of beauty school and kind of like grow and turn into this amazing professional stylist. And it's a really rewarding job on the owner end of things because you get to see that more so.
As somebody who's been on like both sides of the coin, what's the big difference between owning your own salon and, being a somebody who rents a chair or somebody who works at a salon?
I just
I
want to say, I would think that having the chair is simpler because you do your job, you go home. I can't even
Mhm.
imagine. I mean, I can, the 50 hats you have to wear as an owner.
Yes. I will say it's definitely had its ups and downs. It's definitely, as any business, it's been a roller coaster ride. I feel like, it's nice, like you said, to kind of go to a job and leave it there. And when you own a business, you definitely take it home with you. When people are like, "Oh, you have a day off tomorrow," I'm like, not really, but it's always in the back of your mind. However, I have really gained such an amazing team, and I feel like we are just, we connect on a lot of levels, and I feel like we all kind of get each other. And, that was through years of, working with other people and finding like kind of like who can work with our culture and who works with our culture. And I just feel like I think having the right team is definitely key, but it's not always easy finding that perfect team.
So, how
Yeah.
did you find your way to Mattituck?
So when I left Southampton, I was young, and I think I was like 20, and I was looking to get on the floor somewhere because where I was only working a little bit on the floor. There wasn't enough room. There was a lot of stylists there. So I had gone to another salon in Southampton, and they actually knew the owners of someone who was opening a salon on the North Fork, which was 𝗀𝘀 Beauty. So they basically said, hey, we don't have a position here for you in Southampton, but we have a friend of ours that's opening a salon in Jamesport. And they're like, I would love for you to go there and check it out. So I went there and I got hired and I learned so much. I learned a lot of my hair cutting there. I was really more of a hair colorist before I came to the North Fork. And then Dee, the owner of 𝗀𝘀, really taught me a lot. And then basically, I actually grew up on the South Shore, so I had no idea what the North Fork was. When people were talking about Cutchog, I was like, oh, Patchogue, like I had no idea. And so when I found out about Jamesport, I took a ride, I got the job, and that was pretty much, how it worked out. I worked there for a couple of years, and then I kind of popped around. But I think it was important for me to see how different salons ran in order for me to gain the knowledge to be able to open my own business because I feel like a lot of times today, people come right out of school and they want to own a business, but I feel like you kind of need to put the work in to see, it's nice to be able to see how people run things differently and be able to like compare what worked and what didn't work. And I do think that that really was essential for me to run a business and understand my employees, but also be able to be a little bit more open-minded, So I think, definitely popping around to different businesses and seeing how they run was a huge part of why we're successful at this point.
Mhm. I have so many questions, but they're not like North Fork related. They're all like hair related
Go,
questions.
go for it.
Love
Go for it.
that.
I'm just thinking, so 20 years in the business, right? What has
hmm
been your favorite and your least favorite hair trend in the years?
Ah, that's a tricky one. Hmm. Well, I have to
Well,
say,
let's go with favorite. Like, what do you enjoy? Like, what haircuts do you enjoy giving or looking at?
I will say majority of my clientele is short hair. I love short hair. I just anything from bobs and up, I just have such a passion for. There's a lot that goes into cutting short hair, and I guess it's a little bit more, I guess it's somewhat technical, but it's not. It's a little bit more freeing and a little bit more creative. Long hair, I love that too. But I somehow tend to attract the short hair clients, which, is whatever. I love it. So as far as like least favorite, I would have to say when like
Ooh,
I don't know, it's like a
I don't even
weird
know what a
or
Wedge
wedge.
like
is.
Yeah, I don't even know
I
what a
know,
wedge is.
or like a DA, which is like a duck's butt, basically. It's
What?
basically I don't know, yeah, it's
Okay,
the
you're
most
gonna
strangest
I
thing,
mean,
but it
put
was
we're
all
all
the
like,
getting
pictures
off
after.
here
We
and
have no
Googling
idea
these
what these
hairstyles.
haircuts are, and put a big X
all
in them.
right. All right, we'll have to do a reel. I'll have to talk to my social media team and work that out.
Yes, I want to
But that's
see
actually a
a
really good
Google
idea for
my
a reel.
favorite reel.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the therapy aspect of sitting in a hair salon chair. I know obviously you have to be skilled at cutting hair and coloring and styling hair, but how do you hone your skills about being therapist slash best friend when someone sits in your chair is having an emotional reaction? Because that to me, especially, I always cut my hair when I feel like I'm going through something in my mind. So how do
Yeah.
you
Oh
how do you
yeah.
process that?
I would have to say that throughout my career, I just feel like when you have passion for something and you have passion for the people who sit in your chair, and compassion, I just feel like it just comes naturally to some degree. I am definitely known to be more of an empath, so I kind of tend to really understand kind of when people are feeling maybe uncomfortable or sad, or I'm like usually pretty good at honing in on that. I don't know if that's a skill that you can actually really learn. However, I think that most people who come into this industry tend to have a little bit of that in them. And I think that when they make connections with these clients, I think a lot of times like that empath kind of comes out even more so. Because we spend a lot of time with the same people every 3, 4, 5 weeks, and you really get to know them on a personal basis and their families. And I feel like a lot of times people will definitely share with their stylist before they even share with their own families,
Mhm.
which is kind of crazy because like I've had people tell me that they're pregnant before they even tell like their whole families, obviously because they are getting hair color done and they're concerned, or they just are excited and they can't tell anyone yet because they didn't have their test results come back yet. But it's also vice versa. It's on the other end. Like I've had clients for over 20 years that know me, like they know like if I'm off or like if something is wrong or so it's nice to be able to build those connections. And I think I think that's where the therapy aspect comes into it because it's almost like a natural therapy. It's not really like we try. Like I think it's more of like just a natural instinct when you're a stylist.
It goes with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess obviously
Yeah.
if you're seeing the same person for X number of years, then you're literally watching the progression and the changes in their life, and then the way hair connects to or those changes, whether it's trends or whether it's just phases of life. So that to me always sounds like a fascinating way, job or career that you have.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, again, I think a roller coaster ride too, because sometimes you're dealing with, some really heartache sort of situations where, people have lost loved ones, or people have been diagnosed with a terminal cancer, or, so you really dive deep into a lot of our guests' lives, and it's really touching. But then at the same time, sometimes it's like, it's like a roller coaster, because then the next person could come into your chair and they're getting married, so it's just, it can be difficult. I will say it's not for the weakest of hearts, this career, because you do have to be able to kind of jump out of something that maybe was sad prior and kind of jump into something that was happy as well, so there is that aspect of it being a little difficult at times, but it also is just so special that you get to actually connect with people and really get to like see their everyday lives, and like get to see their kids grow up. I've been doing clients, for a long time, where their kids were like 3-4 years old and now they're in college, so it's like, or they're getting married, or they're like, so it's just wild to me, it's kind of cool to see.
I need you to do like a Mythbusters here. So we've all seen the shows where it's like, a girl goes through a breakup or whatever, and then she goes to the salon, she's just cut it all off, right? How often does that actually happen? Does it happen,
Oh,
or is that just on TV?
well, you know what? It does happen. I don't think it's that often.
Yeah.
However, and a lot of times we don't really encourage that type of situation,
You have to
because a
talk
lot
them
of
off the
times,
ledge.
yes, sometimes. And listen, there's times where they like had been pondering it before the breakup, and like, like, oh, they've been talking about a shorter haircut, and then the breakup happens and they're like, I want to do it. And like that would be a different scenario than like, oh my God, I just broke up and now I need to hack my hair off. We usually try to say to them, oh, like, why don't we change your color a little bit? Because, like, color is so much easier to change if they don't like it, versus someone who cuts all their hair off. Now you just got to grow it, and
Yeah.
then that's the end of it,
So, so along the same lines of myth, because I've been on this roller coaster for my whole life and I haven't done it in a while, but bangs or no bangs?
Oh, good
Ooh.
one.
So what I would tell you is, are you talking about specifically for you,
For
or are you talking
anybody, like,
about like just
should
in
they do it? Because
general?
I'm a very low maintenance girl. As you know, I
Yeah.
barely come in there a couple of times a year. So I
Me
feel
too. I'm
bangs
like
is
twice a year
something,
haircut. It's bad.
bangs is something that needs to be kept up with, right? So,
Yes.
which is why I get
Oh
them,
yeah.
I'm
and then
sure
I
you've
don't
been
do
It's
anything
there,
about
like
it.
in college, in front of the mirror, like in the bathroom, twisting up your bangs with the scissor, like, okay,
oh
I'm gonna
my
do it.
God. I love seeing all those TikToks of the bangs gone wrong when they cut their own
And
bangs.
they're like up
It
here.
kills me. Kills me. Yeah, exactly. I would have to say everyone has to try it at least once, depending upon your texture. Like if you have a coarser, frizzier, curlier texture, bangs are definitely going to be more of an issue, and they're going to be high maintenance, and it is a commitment. I will say that, and I always say that in a consultation. A lot of times I'll say to them, let's try like a curtain bang first, like to see if they're like willing to do a little bit of work. And it really depends on the person. I mean, I did bangs once. I was at a show, a hair show in Paris, and everybody had bangs. And I was like, I went back to the hotel room and I was like, I'm going to cut myself some bangs. So I go in the mirror and I cut the bangs, and immediately I regret it because I have like a textured hair and it's a little bit curly and frizzy. And so I had to live with that for a good couple of months until it grew into more of a curtain bang. But listen, I mean,
Literally, you're
it's not the worst thing in the
inspiring me right
world.
now. You do bangs?
Oh my
I never
God.
even
Oh,
thought of doing bangs. Now I want to do bangs. Thanks,
listen,
Anita.
I mean, you gotta do it. Yeah, you gotta do it at least once in your life.
I mean, as like a child, I had them, but they were like, remember those
Oh,
straight across
the bowl, yeah,
ones?
with the bowl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
Okay, let's talk.
I will tell.
Sorry,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. Sorry. I was just gonna say I had bangs when I was a kid too, and my mom used to cut them. And I remember one picture day I had bangs and they were like this. It was
Of
horrible.
course, everybody had that. I remember
Yeah.
my mom used to try and put scotch tape across
Oh,
them to
Oh
like cut them
my
straight.
God.
Like,
I mean, that's a
who
good idea.
did
these,
that
by
trick?
the way, I just want to tell the viewers that these are what not to do.
Oh yeah,
These are
these
not
are
Yeah,
these tips. I would try
exactly.
them
Don't
out.
do that at home. Go see your
these are
stylist.
duct tape.
Let's talk a minute about consultation. And I guess I'm approaching it from the way I approach it. when I sit in the chair, and like I said, I usually end up in the chair when my brain is processing whatever it is, right? And
Yeah.
I'm expecting the hairstylist to be a mind reader and know exactly what will make me happy. So give me some tips on how I can better communicate, or what is it I need to be prepared for so I can walk out of there with the results that I want.
That's a great question. I would say pictures, pictures, pictures. Pictures of things that you like, pictures of things that you don't like. You know, like I think
Ooh,
that a
don't
huge,
like. I like that point. Don't,
Mhm.
because I never think of
Yeah.
that. Okay.
So like I feel like a lot of people don't really think of that, but I feel like people will come in and they'll tell you everything that they like, but then it's kind of like a mind reading thing, like you said, like you have to kind of know what this, like especially if we're meeting you for the first time, we don't really know what your style is. You know, so we try to dig deep, and a lot of the consultation usually is like, what is your daily routine? Do you blow dry your hair? Like we need to know like what is like, do you like more lived in hair where you're not really doing a whole lot to your hair and you just kind of wash and go, which I don't really know too many people who do that,
Oh,
but it happens, you know.
that's right here, right here.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think that pictures are a huge part of it. And like I said, things that you like, things that you don't like, because I think that a picture can tell you 1,000 words. You know, it's pictures like 1,000 words. So it really does describe to us like what exactly you're looking for. And even if people bring me a picture, I ask them, what do you like about the picture? Because a lot of times, I always say to my clients, cover the face, because I really want them to look at the hair and not the whole picture. Because I feel like a lot of times they're looking at like a model, let's just say, and their hair is like pushed over to the side, and it's like, and it's really not even a style. And a lot of times I'll go into the picture and I'll cover the face and I'll say, what do you like about this haircut? Or what do you like about the color?
That's
Because then it gives,
a great tip, because you're right. You're probably distracted by the makeup or the eyes or
yeah,
whatever it may be that's attractive to you, and the hair just is part of that package.
100%. Yep, definitely.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
feel like you guys at your salon really go dive deep, because I've never had like a real haircut in my life. I have to be honest. My like next door neighbor cuts my hair for like $20, and she's just like, I'm gonna just trim it up. But I feel like I feel like having a service like that where you actually have somebody really thinking about what you want and what you're looking for is so good. I feel like people need that. It's
Well,
so
or just even
personalized.
holding the space for you to process it and figure out what you want in this phase of life. Because at different times, I feel like I have never had my hair short. I mean, to me, this is short, but I was just ready for it. And I happened to be on vacation, and I went to a place where I didn't even know anything.
That's
But I was just ready.
daring.
I would not have done it if I was home, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
But I think
yeah.
holding the space for, and actually, it ended up being a good place, because she, kind of made me pause, but then also life is short, it'll grow back if I
Hmm.
change my mind, and I love it. So I think
It's
holding that
true.
space
Yeah.
for the consultation is really important.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And
I
having an
mean, it's,
actual style,
yeah.
because I don't have any style. I don't,
All
I
right.
just say trim it
Oh,
up. That's it.
Kelly, I'll send
It's,
you the link to book an appointment with Cassandra Murray.
Okay,
So
send it to
you
me.
can just do it online. You don't have to talk to anybody. All the times the stylists are available.
I better
You can
yeah.
start
just click,
looking
click,
at my
click.
pictures.
Okay,
Look at your pictures. Go ahead.
another aspect that fascinates me about hair salons is, and I feel like it's somehow something similar to what we do here on the show in terms of being connected to what is going on. So how much information slash gossip do you get on a daily basis about the local community? I feel like I would love to come and hang out for a day and just hear about everything that's going on in town.
Listen, what's said in the salon stays in the salon, you know? My, my lips are sealed.
I love it.
Somebody in the
Can't really talk too
comments
much about
asked.
that.
Somebody
But
in the
I love it. But
comments
I can
asked.
see how, it is a career, because people have so many service oriented careers. But this one seems like a way where you're really connected to people, because obviously people are coming from the community, although there are people I know who move that then continue to drive back as many
Yeah,
miles as wherever
yeah,
they, got their
yeah.
haircut, because that's their place.
Mhm.
Yes, 100%. I mean, it's definitely, like I said, it goes back to connection too. I always tell the girls, you know, like it's not just about the hair we do, it's the connections we make, you know? It's huge.
Yeah. And I think that once you find somebody who you trust and that you like what they do every time, it's like, why would I go anywhere else if I already know it's going to come out the way I like it, right?
100%. And then I
Okay, we
think
have a
that,
question. We have a
oh, go
question. Do
ahead.
you have a preference? Somebody's asking, Kayla's asking, do you have a preference if we come in with clean hair or greasy hair? She's asking for a friend.
Uh, so, I mean, honestly, I think it depends on the situation. I mean, greasy hair before color service is not great because sometimes it can affect the way that the hair color processes. I would say, you know, it doesn't have to be squeaky clean. It could be a day old, whatever. If you're looking to show someone or show a stylist how your hair naturally dries, I would say wash it in the morning and then you know, let it air dry maybe, or blow dry it how you like to style it so that if it is a haircut appointment that you're looking for, that at least you can, we can kind of see what you do on a daily and what it looks like, how you actually work with your hair. But for hair color, I always say, you know, not extremely dirty. It doesn't matter if it's like a day old, but you don't really want too much product in there and you don't really want it to be too dirty.
Because you're not washing it before hair color. Is that the point?
Yeah, a lot of times we don't really wash it
Okay.
before hair color, depending upon the service. So it's better for it not to be super dirty.
And if you're coming in for a haircut, the closer to the natural texture, then better you can tell how the cut would be. Is that fair?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, you want to, you know, like especially if you have curly hair and you're going to be wearing it curly, you want to come in with your hair like how you would normally wear it so that we can get an idea of what it is that you're looking for and how your hair actually naturally dries or lays.
What a fun convo. I'm sure we've inspired many people to process whether or not they're looking for a change in their hair
I
or,
need to
yeah.
start looking at inspo pictures. That's where I'm at.
And I also
That's
don't
where
forget
it's
what you
at.
don't like. That's
hmm
important
What's,
because for me, if it
yes.
was really
Oh, yeah.
short past my chin, I would start crying. So I
Oh my
definitely need to bring a picture of
God.
that
Yeah.
saying, don't go to this length.
100%. And don't let outside influences, you know, or emotional influences,
Yes.
you know, mess with your decision making.
Yeah. Don't do that typical sitcom move.
Okay, let's jump into the No for Life 5. Hopefully, between Kelly and I, we'll remember the questions. If you were taking Kelly and me to lunch or breakfast or dinner, where would we go? What would we eat?
It is such a hard decision, but I for lunch I would say Love Lane Kitchen. Um, their skirt steak is delicious. If you're not vegetarian, and their fries are always delicious. Dinner, I do love Frisky Oyster. I can't really, there's so many different options. I don't even know if I could really pick
Well,
one.
Frisky Oyster has the vibe, I mean, for sure.
Oh yeah, I love the vibe. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's really nice.
Are you a winery or a brewery girl?
I am definitely a winery girl for sure.
And what's your fave?
I would say I really like Palmer or 𝗱∗ is really nice as well. Just ambiance and the cheese boards
Have
and
you
that kind of thing.
been to that new Italian market that they opened? I haven't been yet. I've been wanting to go.
Haven't.
You haven't been, Kelly?
No.
Oh my God,
I
I
haven't been
believe
to
Lumber and Salt
Tenerife
is
since last
involved
summer.
in making it. So I'm sure it's
Yeah.
stunning. Okay, so that then we all
We
need a
need to
trip
have a date.
to 𝗱∗ to check out
Sounds
the
good to
Italian
me.
market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where you commute from. Do you catch a sunrise? Do you stay late enough for a sunset? What's your typical jam?
Oh no, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock type of girl.
Well, we're
I
getting to
am an
4:30
early.
sunsets. We're getting to 4:30 sunsets, girl. So that's
I
not gonna be a
know.
problem.
Well, not a problem at all. But I'm usually on the road pretty early. So a lot of times I'll see like the sun coming up like as I'm like driving. So it's not really the most exciting way to see the sunrise, but unfortunately it's typical.
I
And
hear you.
do you have a farm stand that you like to stop at?
So the Surrey Lane Farm, which is basically like a vineyard and an orchard farm, is really amazing. The people who own it are phenomenal people. It's family owned. Lots of fruits and
That's in
veggies.
Southampton, right? Is
Yes,
it in Southampton? Mhm.
yes, and it's amazing. And their wine is
Are
phenomenal.
they
Believe it
still
or not.
open? Why did I, for some reason, think that they were for sale?
I think a while ago they might have been. I don't really know
Okay.
100%, but I know that it's seasonal. I know that they'll probably be closing soon, but I know that they sell a lot of apples to different farms. So their produce is phenomenal. And I just like that they're family owned, and I know that the people who own it, and they're just beautiful people, very caring people. And I try to support, as much of the North Fork businesses as possible, when I'm able to.
Yeah, I've passed by the stand. I don't know that I've ever stopped, but
Yeah.
you're inspiring me to make a stop and check out what they
I
Oh
have.
yeah.
It's a
You
cute
definitely gotta
had
try their
good
location,
wine.
things.
and
Yeah, I had heard good things about them from Brita, who worked at 𝗵𝗶𝗿𝗄. That
Yes.
they're good.
Yeah.
They're in a good
yeah,
spot.
Oh my
I've never
God.
stopped.
Awesome.
But
Yeah,
well,
you guys
good.
should definitely
So
check
now
it
I have a
out.
new one to add to my list.
Mhm. And you're in Southampton, so there's no excuse. You're
Well,
right
like I said,
there.
I've passed it many a times. I just have never
Yeah.
stopped. It just happens to be, you know how it is, you pass what's
Yeah.
convenient? It happens
Yes.
to be on that side of the fork, and I'm always going this
Uh,
way. But I'll
I
make a
know. I get
special
that.
attempt. I'll make a special attempt.
You
Um,
definitely should.
so, Cassandra, tell us in a sentence or two why you love being part of the North Fork community.
So I have to say, I mean, I've worked since I was very young, and when I left Southampton and I came to the North Fork, I just realized how amazing the people are. The people who are living there, and they're just so supportive. Like even just like through COVID, like so many, like I'll just give you an example. Like, like we were only open a couple of years when COVID hit. And I just feel like the support and the love that we got from all of our clients, and like buying gift certificates just to keep us open. Like who knew if we were going to reopen, it's just, I feel like anytime there's anything tragic going on the North Fork, like in someone's family or someone knows someone who's struggling, the North Fork always comes together like anyone. I've never seen this type of community before where people just come together and they help each other. And like they don't even have to know the person. They just say, oh, so and so is going through something. I heard that. Let's do a food drive, or let's deliver meals to their home. Or I had a client who was really, really sick with cancer, and she received meals like every day. They would schedule days where they would bring meals to her and her family. And like it's just like those type of things that really, like, it just connects me so much more to the North Fork, because I just love the compassion that everyone has for one another out here. And I just feel like I don't think I've ever seen that ever, no matter where I've been, where I grew up. Like, and I just love that it's so close knit and everybody knows everybody, which is good sometimes, but sometimes bad. But but it's an amazing thing to see people just come together and really support one another. And I just feel like you don't really get that, anywhere else.
Well, the community on the North Fork definitely is special, and we thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for putting so many smiles on so many people's faces. I'm sure 95% or maybe more, unless, walk out of those chairs, having a better day than when they walked in.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much again for having me. It was a real treat.
Well, thank you for joining us. Great to see you, Kelly, and
Yes.
we'll see you next weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend,
Bye
everybody.
All right, you
guys.
too.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.